What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, and I'm back with another video, man. And you already know what I need you to do. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell, because it does go a long way with helping out the channel. If this is your first time, welcome to Hold My Nuts Podcast, where we talk about everything semen retention and no fap. If you stumbled across this channel, I already know why you're here, man. You're tired of releasing on your keyboards, your laptops, and your desktops. You're tired of being manipulated and dominated by female culture, man. So you're in the right place. If you already been rocking with your boy, man, you already know the love is real. You already know how we get down, man. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So today's title is Covenant Eyes. And guys, I know a lot of times in semen retention videos, we hear about the benefits. We hear about staying away from these particular vices that trap us up, but we never really or very rarely get practical things that we can implement in order to keep our way pure, in order to actually aid us in practicing semen retention. You know, it's one thing to say, don't give in to the desire, don't give in to the temptation, but how do we do that, right? So I want to give us some practical ways, a practical way that we can actually help ourselves on this semen retention journey. So today we're going to come from the book of Job. We're going to start with 3 verses. The first one is, and they're all coming from the same chapter, Job chapter 31. And I put this information down in the description so you can reference it later. But we're going to start with Job chapter 31, and we're going to start with verse 1. Then we're going to take a look at verses 7 and 8. And then we're going to parallel that with semen retention and how we can implement this so we can be successful on our journey, not to get jammed up by these Jezebels, man. Because these Jezebels out here to jam us up. They're trying to take our money. They're trying to take our peace. They're trying to take any and everything that they can get, our attention, anything that can take away from us being able to accomplish our dreams, goals, and aspirations. So Job 31 verse 1 says this: I have made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? He said, I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? So what Job is saying here is that he's taking extra measures not to fall into lust, not to fall into sexual immorality, not to fall into adultery, not to fall into these different things that he knows are offensive to God and that he knows will trip him up. He said, I made a covenant with my eyes not to, look upon a young woman, right? He knows that if his eyes are wandering and his eyes are basically in control, that can lead him to places where he shouldn't be, places where he doesn't want to go. It can set him up for traps and pits to fall into. So he made a covenant with his eyes. Now, the interesting thing about this is that before the danger actually comes, Job is making a covenant with his eyes. He says, I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? A lot of times, guys, in warfare, you have to plan. Well, actually, all the time in warfare, you have to plan before the war begins. You have to know what you're dealing with. You have to know the traps that are going to be set before you. Right. So Job is saying, I made a covenant with my eyes. That way, when I get in battle, I'm already aware of the traps that are set before me. I'm already aware, right? Because I made a covenant. So these things are not going to be a surprise to me. When I go to the grocery store, when I go to the gas station, when I pull up at the traffic light and my tires have the armor all, and the tires are glistening. I have the windows down. My music is thumping, and old shorty pull up on me on the side, right? And she looking right, and she, you know what I'm saying? We're not falling off our path. We're staying on our path because we know what happens when you fall into the trap? It's destruction. It is utter destruction when you fall into the trap. Right? Now, this trap is it's enticing because we have natural desires embedded in us. And these desires are not wrong. We do have a natural attraction for the opposite sex. We have that attraction, right? To beautiful women, to women in general, right? That's not the problem. The problem is always being driven by lust. That's always the problem, right? You're never going to not be attracted to the opposite sex, to women, right? That's just something that's going to happen because there's a mandate to procreate. Okay. So, but we are setting a covenant with our eyes when we're walking through the mall, right? You see these women dressed, half dressed. There, you seeing, you like, how can you not, right? So it's not that you go into the mall like this. It's not that you blindfold yourself and you ask your friend to hold your hand and walk you through the aisles, right? That's not what it's about. Covenant eyes is basically saying, sometimes I can't help what my eyes see. Just like when David, he was out on his rooftop and he saw Bathsheba taking a bath. He just stumbled across that. The problem was there was no covenant with the eyes. So he kept engaging, right? And then as he kept engaging, he fell into a plethora of different transgressions. He killed the man, took his wife, and he smashed her. 3 and 1 to 1 and 3. He did it all, right? But as a result of that, the Lord put a sword within his household, and David paid for that his whole life. Through his family, he paid for that, right? So make a covenant with your eyes. Make a covenant with your eyes. Tell yourself, listen, man, I'm not going to look upon these women and meditate. You're not going to be able to not see the beautiful woman. You're not going to be able to avoid that, right? Because they're everywhere. Okay. But you have the ability to say, I'm not going to meditate on what I'm seeing. I'm not going to focus on what I'm seeing. And if I see, I acknowledge it, but I keep it moving. You have to acknowledge and keep it moving, right? You can't deny what you see. It is what it is. But you do not have to lock your eyes in on that object and allow the lust to fester in your heart that will lead you down a path that you know is not going to be beneficial for you, right? You know it's not going to be beneficial for you. So make a covenant like Job with your eyes. He says, I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? Right? He's keeping his way pure. He's setting the precedent for how things are going to play out in his own life. And you have to do the same. You have to make a covenant with your eyes. I'm not going to watch Instagram models twerk. I'm not going to watch, girls on TikTok, doing little jumping jack videos, with the bosoms bouncing up and down. I'm not going to, allow my For You page to be filled with these type of videos, this type of content. Make a covenant with your eyes, right? Make a covenant. That means come into agreement. Tell yourself, listen, I'm not going to allow you guys to do this. We're not going to do this today, right? May sound crazy, but it can save you from a lot of turmoil and a lot of trouble. We're going to skip down to verse 7. Same chapter, Job chapter 31. We're going to skip down to verse 7 and 8. In verse 7, he says this: if my steps has turned from the way, meaning if he's turned from the way, or my heart walked after my eyes. He's saying if my steps have turned from the way or my heart walked after my eyes. He's saying, did my heart walk after my eyes? He says, or if any spot adheres to my hands, then let me sow, let me, work and let another eat. So he's making a declaration. In this passage, Job is basically claiming his case for all the trouble that's been happening in his life. If you have any understanding about the book of Job, you know, Job lost it all and there was this whole thing going on. You got to read it. But he's making this case that these things that have been levied against him are not because he did anything wrong. So he's making a case in this whole chapter. So in this particular verse, he's saying, if my heart has walked after my eyes. See, your eyes are the gateway to the soul, right? What you see can change or alter what you think, right? What you see, it can be a lie, but if you can see it, then it can alter how you think, how you feel, how you move, what decisions you make, right? He's saying, if my heart has walked after my eyes. They couldn't have walked out of his eyes because Job has already made a covenant. He's made a covenant with his eyes not to look upon a young woman. Verse 8, he says, then let me sow and another eat. Yes, let my harvest be rooted out. So he's saying, listen, man, I haven't let my heart walk after my eyes. I haven't let my heart do that. But how can you not let your heart walk after your eyes if you have not made a covenant with your eyes? This is a practical principle that we can employ so that we don't get ourselves in a trap, get ourselves in a situation that's not going to be beneficial. You know, you're on your streak, you 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, 100 days, whatever you're on, and you're focusing and grinding. You've been grinding so hard now, you don't even know how many days, you know, you've gone without releasing on that keyboard, releasing on that laptop, releasing on that desktop, splattering all across the TV screen, flat screens, plasmas, stove tops, rooftops, black tops. Doesn't matter. You're not releasing because you made a covenant with your eyes. You made a covenant, right? So Job is saying, if my heart has walked after my eyes, there's a correlation there. Heart and eyes. The eyes is what we see visually, right? But what we see visually, we interpret intuitively, spiritually, all those type of things, right? We interpret what we see. When your eyes lock in on something that is appealing to you, right? The outer appearance of what you're looking at could be vile, could be, you know, the devil appearing as an angel of light, could be something that is painting a beautiful picture for you. But in the end, when you eat of its fruit, it's poison. And it comes in and disrupts your whole life, disrupts your soul, takes your peace away, takes your money away, maybe take your family away, maybe take your job away, maybe put you in jail because you did something you weren't supposed to do, because you've been driven by your lust. You've been led by your eyes. You've allowed your heart to follow the eyes. So you have to control your eyes. You have to control what you see. If you're looking at if you're in a strip club, let's just say you're in a strip club, and you have every intention not to throw any dollars. You have every intention not to get aroused. You have every intention not to do anything immoral other than the fact that you're just sitting in the strip club, right? Eventually, someone's going to get to you. It's not going to be long before you are in a state of utter lust and you're defiled, right? The purpose for that analogy is just to show you that you can't put yourselves in unfavorable situations and expect to win. That's in any form of life, right? You can't put yourself in a situation and expect to win. Put yourself in a situation that's not going to be helpful. You know, you're trying to diet, but you're around people who are eating bad. You're trying to get in shape, but you're around people who don't like working out. You're trying to save money and get to the next level and get your paper up, but you're around people who spend money like there's no tomorrow, who don't save, who don't have good spending habits, who don't look to invest, who are not watching the news to try to figure out what's going on in the markets. You are doing contrary to what you are trying to achieve. So when you put yourself in these situations that are unfavorable in regards to lust, it's inevitable that you are going to fail. That's just what's going to happen, right? So make a covenant with your eyes that you will not look upon anything that is vile. That goes back to Psalms 101, verse 3. Well, David says, I will not look upon anything that is vile. I will not look upon anything that's vile with approval, right? You're not going to put yourself in those situations. Some things you're going to see just because you're human and you have to live in this world. You have to live in this reality. You have to work with people. You have to do things, right? But you don't have to focus on the negative aspect of those things. And that's what I want you guys to understand. This is a practical way that you can help yourself. So if you are following all these Instagram models and you know when they do that story and you know when they do their live, they're trying to entice you. They're trying to get their money up. Right. So the more views and the more likes that you give these women from them trying to hook you. Right. They're bringing you in. They're bringing you in. They're bringing you in. And what you're doing is you're losing your energy. You're losing your life source. You're losing that juice that makes you a man. You losing your testosterone's going down, right? You don't have to throb no more. You can't. You're not throbbing because you've been releasing keyboards, laptops, desktops, right? So all of your energy is on your computer screen. All of your energy is on your keyboard, on your plasma, right? You've ejected it outside of yourself. Now you have no use for it. Now you have to wait. They say every time you ejaculate, it takes about 3 days to recover from that one release. It takes about 3 days to recover from that one release. So if you're doing that multiple times a day, partaking in all types of ungodliness, man, your energy is going down, 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 down. It's going down, bro. So make a covenant with your eyes. Make a covenant with your eyes. Make a covenant. Do not let your heart follow after your eyes. Because once the heart follows after the eyes, that's when you're gonna do something. That's when you're going to mess up. That's when you're going to invite these things to take a hold of you. I'm telling you guys, I'm big on being watchful, vigilant, because some of these women out here, a lot of them are witches. And I'm telling you, man, they're getting it in, especially if they like you, right? And they don't want you to go away. They're trying to trap you up. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you guys to be careful. To be careful out there, man, because if you get drawn away by your own lust and entice, these type of things you open yourself up to. Next thing you know, you licking the bottom of feet. You feel me? Licking behind ears and, doing all kind of crazy things. You don't even understand what you're doing. Right? You're confused. You're complex. Like, how did I get here? How did this happen? Right? But you've been sucked in because you were looking at the outer appearance. You weren't walking in the light. You're not walking in the light. So when you're not walking in the light, you do not have the power or the ability to be able to discern if this is a good person you should give your time to, or if this is a person who's just going to waste your time, waste your life, waste your resources. You don't have discernment. Like I said before, when you trade your peace for lust, right, you're not going to have the ability to be able to discern. You're going to be spiritually, unable to know what's right from wrong because you've traded your peace for sensuality, sexuality, and all these different type of things. Guys, make a covenant with your eyes, bro. Make a covenant. Be extreme, right? You see something? Okay, you saw it. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Don't be thrown off of your path. This is Hold My Nuts podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. If you know someone who needs this content, man, shoot it out to them. I'm going to holler at you guys in the next video. Peace.